We're down to the end. The last two parts I'm going to take off before I reassemble the rear is take off this brake part and this brake and throttle linkage. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take off this little end right here on the throttle linkage. That's going to pop right on off after I unscrew it all the way off. Careful not to lose any parts. Put that off to the side. Then the next thing is taking off this brake assembly. Now to do that, once again, there's 4 screws right here I have to take off. What I'm going to do is take these 4 off and examine it, clean it. It doesn't look to be any broken parts on it, so that's a plus. I'll take and do that, clean it off like I said, and then I'll reassemble it, and then I'll also reassemble the brake and throttle assembly, and then we'll start putting the car back together, starting with the brake and throttle assembly. Okay, that was part of it. It just fell out the brake. There you have it. Now I'll clean off this little part. I'll clean off the grime and stuff that's on there. Clean this off. Make sure the brakes are moving freely. I'll clean off this arm and so forth. Possibly even lube it up. And that'll be that. The next part I'm going to do is the throttle and brake linkage. Right here is the original one that came off of the car. Like I told you, this was bent, so I went and brought a whole new set. Part number 2326. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the brake linkage. What I'm going to do right quick is take this off like such. Put that to the side. This is the assembly right here, pretty much already set up, well, in order anyway. And what I'm going to do is pretty much what you see. Put this little cap right here, thread it through. After that, I'll put the spring on. That's right there. After I put the spring on, I'll put a little washer on. Then that would go in between the brake arm or brake cam lever. And then after I do that, I'll put the other end on. The end results is going to look like this. Like this one I just took off. Completely reassembled it to look like this. Right here. And then that would sit just like this with the brake lever. The next part to assemble is the throttle linkage. This is all the throttle hardware. What I'm going to do is put this end cap threaded onto the this arm right here. Get my tool. Put it in there like so, and thread it on there all the way up. Now it's supposed to go all the way in. Then I take this brass collar, I slides that on there on the end, about maybe a half an inch from the end of the threaded lines. Then I put this part on. After I put that part on, I'll put the spring on. After I put the spring on, I'll put the other brass collar on, like that. Then I'll get the, there's two little set screws that go inside the brass collars to keep them in place. I'm going to throw a little dab of, just a little dab of thread lock on it so that it'll stay in place. Do that to both of them. That's one. These are some real small set screws here. Put a little dab on this one. Boop. Not too much. Slide that down. I'll do the adjusting in a minute, or later when I actually hook it up to the car. There you have it. I take this old one off. Little nut right there. Take that one off. Take that off. Take this screw off, because I want to use all new stuff. That way I know that in my mind that is good. Or I put it together and I know that it's the good parts. Now put that one, other screw, put that one back in there like that. Screw it back on like such. Once I get it going, I'll be alright. There we go. Now we set. I just screw it all the way down. Well, I really do need my little original screwdriver that I had. Maybe I'll get one after I complete this project, or hopefully before I complete this project. Alright, I put that on. Then I slide this on top through there like that. Make sure it's freely moving. Put this little plastic washer on. Put this nut back on. And after I do that, make sure it's tight, but not too tight that it don't move freely, because it's got to be able to move once you press the throttle or the brake. It's got to still be able to move. Can't be so tight that it don't. See if it's still flexible. Still flexible. And there you have it. Your throttle and your brake linkage completely broken down and replaced. Now, like I said, I'll do the adjusting of the set screws once I put it onto the motor. Now, the next thing I want to do is reassemble all the stuff that I've taken apart. Starting with this, hooking it back up to the brake, hooking that back up to the brake, then the transmission, the suspension. I've got it all taken apart and re-cleaned. The hubs, the shocks, shock tower, radio case. Ain't seen that in a while, huh? The gas tank, and then last but not least, the engine, which this would be cleaned back up, because I still replace this right here, the gears, and make sure that's okay. And after I do that, the last little step will be the electronics, the servos, the receiver, and the batteries, and the on and off switch.